All right, so we're gonna start with question 15 on the review. I'm gonna stop at 23. Esmeralda. All right, so looking at today's stuff, looking at number 15, find the coordinates of the vertices of each figure after the given transformation. So let me look at the original coordinates. I'm gonna look at the coordinates of point V, of point U, and point W, the original ones. So looking at V, the coordinates are 3, 4. Looking at U, the coordinates are 3, 1. And looking at W, the coordinates are 0, 2. Now, the transformation here says 6 units down. If I remember on the rule, that's a translation. We leave the X alone and we go Y minus 6 because we're subtracting 6 from the Y. So my coordinates of V prime will be 3, negative 2. The coordinates of U prime will be 3, negative 5. And the coordinates of W prime will be 0, negative 4. Once again, I left the X alone and subtracted 6 from the Y. Or another thing you guys could have done, could have moved a point, any point you guys want, 6 units down. If I look at the U and I move it 6 units down, I get this point, right? If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, here's my U prime. Or I could have followed any point. Now, some cases you might be looking at, let me get something that is not on your guys' review. You guys might get the special reflections. We're going to reflect them over the X equals something or Y equals something. In this case, let me look at the across Y equals negative 4. The Y equals negative 4 is this line. The x-axis is known as y equals 0. So y equals negative 4 is that. I'm going to move everything from from one side of the line to the other. So if I was looking at E, here's E, which is 1 point above the line. So I'm going to move it to 1 point below the line. Right? For reflection, we count spaces. So I noticed that E was 1 point, 1 space above the line, the mirror line. So I'm going to bring it 1 space below the line. Now, D and F are both on the line. Every time we have a point on the line on reflection, they stay the same spot. So D and F don't move. So reflection, you might count spaces on this special stuff. Any questions on these? Now, our number 16, we're going to look into our mid segment of a triangle, which is that. And I know it's parallel to this side. And as a matter of fact, I'm asking you to find SU, the big side. We don't know how big is it. Let me call it X. So the way we're going to solve it, we're going to multiply the mid segment. We're going to multiply it by 2. And it's going to equal to the big side. Mid segment times 2 is equal to the side. So 2 times 6 equals X. I'm going to say X is equal to 12. Mid segment times 2 equals the big side. Same thing for example number 17. Here the mid segment is 2x minus 15. So I'm going to go 2x minus 15 all multiplied by 2. I see the side that is parallel to it is 2x minus 8. Now, let me use the distributive property. I have the 4x minus 30 is equal to 2x minus 8. I'm going to separate them to the equal sign. I'm going to subtract 2x on each side. I'm going to add 30 to each side. So that way I have x's on the left, numbers on the right. I have the 2x equals 22. So x must be 11. The instructions were solved for x, so I'm done. Any questions on these? Now looking at 18 and 19, the same idea. On the first one, I'm giving you state if the 3 numbers can be the measures of the size of a triangle. The numbers are not listed in any order. I'm just going to get the two smaller numbers, which in this case are 11 and 12. I'm going to add the two smallest numbers, and this has to be bigger than, strictly bigger than, the third side. Then I ask myself, is 11 plus 12 more than 12? Yes. So in that case, yes, I can make a triangle out of those three sides. Looking at the next example, number 19, two sides of the triangle have the following measures. Find the range of the possible measures for the third side. I'm going to say x is in between two values. I'm not using equality for those. And my two values are going to be 6 and 18. The way I came out with the 6 and 18, with the two numbers that were given, I subtracted them to come out with 6. I added them to come out with 18. Any questions on these? Now for 20 and 21, our idea with isosceles triangle is we're going to rotate the triangle. On your homework, you can rotate the screen. On the test, you can rotate the paper. I'm going to rotate it such that the two sides that are equal are as if they were the legs of a person. I have the person standing up. So the two sides that are equal, I'm going to rotate them such that as if they were legs of a person, I'm going to stand up the person. So if you notice, if you rotate the picture, you have that this is X and this is 50. The reason why I stand up the person, the reason why I put the sides like that is because the two angles at the bottom are going to be equal. I see that one of them is 50. I'm going to say the other one is 50. Now I have the three angles of a triangle. I'm going to add everything. X plus 50 plus 50 is equal to 180. So I have that X plus 100 is equal to 180. We can agree that X is equal to 80. Now looking at number 21, here I mark the two angles. So I'm going to put the two angles at the bottom, the two angles that are equal. If you notice on number 20, I have the two angles that are equal. I have them at the bottom. So if you look at the picture, you have that. I rotated the picture. In here, X is equal to 10. Right? If the two angles at the bottom are equal, then the two sides are equal. That's the idea with isosceles triangles. Any questions on these? Lastly, let me take a look at 22 and 23. Number 22, we're dealing with the three angles of a triangle. So I'm just going to add them all. 60 plus X plus 45 plus 85. I'm going to add everything, and it's equal to 180. The left side, I can combine 60 plus 45 plus 85. That is 190. So I have X plus 190 is equal to 180. We'll just subtract 190, and we get that X equals negative 10. X can be negative, so negative 10 is okay. Looking at question number 23, the angle in this case is outside. I have two angles on the inside. So I'm going to add the two on the inside, 66 plus 50, and it's equal to the one on the outside. I don't know what the question mark is, so I'm going to call it X. We can simplify the left, right? 66 plus 50, that's 116. And that's X. I was asking on 22, solve for X. On 23, find the measure of the angle indicated, which we just call X. Any questions on these? Now for the review from today, I'm going to stop here. So we'll finish the review tomorrow.